Yes, yes, yes. What is up, everybody? Hey, y'all. Welcome to Tigs Bits. Welcome to Tigs Tonight. Man, feels like it's been a minute since I've done one of these things. Hopefully I'm not too rusty tonight. I'm gonna have to shake the cobwebs off and all of that. Well, it has been a couple of weeks. I think it's maybe the longest that I have gone without doing a show or recording a show or anything in a couple of years, probably. So it's been nice. Appreciate y'all hanging with us, hanging with me. Let me get a little bit of a break in. Lots of good stuff coming. We're going to get to that later on tonight. So this is just going to be kind of tonight. It's a hangout. That's all that we're going to do. I want y'all to be active in the chat tonight, and we're just going to kind of talk about some of the stuff. I'm going to talk about the trip that I just got back from. That was a nice little 2,700 plus mile little family road trip. Thanks to LSU winning the College World Series and going to Omaha. I won't dive too deep in the Tigers. I'm not going to dive into X's and O's, but I will talk about some of the fun stuff that we did and all of that. Of course, I've had a video that went viral. It blew up as we went through Arkansas, Arkansas, as Les Miles used to call it. Went hiking in the Devil's Den. We went to Astros games in Houston, and then we're going to talk about what all's coming up with the channel in the month of July. So let me see, who do we have in the chat tonight? Oh yeah, what is up, Fat Pig? Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Brian Gilson, what's going on, brother Brian? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Wouldn't be a show without my main man, Mr. Paul Rogers. I'm trying something new here, Paul. Just bear with me. I don't know if that worked, but we're just going to, like I said, we're going to have fun tonight. It's just going to be loose. You're going to get a full-on, possibly a little weird Tiggy tonight. I might get weird in here tonight. I might get weird. I'm by myself. I don't even have earphones. I can't hear anything. So, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Mr. John Costaca! Yeah, good to see you, Mr. Johnny. I've seen you've been on the road too, my man, doing some good stuff, eating some good food, seeing some ball games, all of that. I love that. What is up, Dusty? What is going on, brother? My man. He says, congrats to the Tigers. Go Dogs. Tennessee is a shithole. Don't want to offend any Tennessee people at all, but yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, I ain't going to disagree totally. Baseball fans are terrible there for sure. Mr. Carl Dunn, what is up, Carl the Cat? Appreciate you joining. He's still mad that I didn't save him some steak. I understand, dude. I understand. It did not last. It did not last long at all. Look, I'm going to try a little something new tonight. As y'all comment, I think it'll show over there or show on the screen. It's just some new feature because I get to talking and sometimes I miss some chats, but I do want y'all to chime it up tonight. Let's have some fun and let's get in it. So tonight, kind of like I said, I told everything. Y'all voted. I put the poll up and I said, look, what night do we want to do this show? When should we do it? Do you want to do it on a Tuesday? You want to do it tonight? Do you want to do it tomorrow night, Wednesday, or do you want to go at our regular time on Thursday at 7:30? Well, you know, everybody voted. Here we are, obviously, and that's great. I kind of like it. Hopefully my internet stays relatively okay. It seems to be struggling a little bit tonight, so we'll see. Y'all let me know if it starts acting up. I don't know what else I can do. We're just going to rock and roll. That's all that we're going to do. T. Wayne Foster, what is up, sir? What is up? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Yeah, Carl the Cat's glad we got to Omaha. It is beautiful for sure, and we're going to get all into that. But happy 4th of July if you're listening to this after the fact. Before I forget, it is the 4th of July this weekend, and that is really and truly why we're doing this tonight on a Tuesday. And then, man, it's got me to start thinking. So many of y'all all popped off and said, let's do this on Tuesday. I was like, crap, man, should we move this show to Tuesday nights? I'm cool with that. But then I looked, and we just got Riley's football schedule, and yeah, that's not going to happen. In fact, there'll probably be some Thursdays. There's probably going to be – it looked like there may be maybe 3 weeks out of starting in September, really starting in August until October. 3, maybe 4 weeks where it may be a struggle to go live that week. But, you know, I know y'all understand that. We'll get to it. But it looks like at least through the fall, let's keep it on Thursday night. And plus – it kind of works out. This is this July 3rd. This is my mom and dad's 60th wedding anniversary. Isn't that amazing? 60 years. So we may be doing something on that night with them. We talked about maybe cooking steaks, something like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's been going on. But tell you what, I am wiped out. I'm still wiped out from all of the travel that we've been doing. But hey, you know, I'm starting to feel a little recharged after the break. We'll see. We'll see. Look, shout out, in case I forget at any point, shout out to everyone new that may be watching this show that found the show through this run with LSU going to the College World Series. The Tiger Ragtime Band brought in a lot of new followers. Then my crazy Arkansas video brought in some new followers. Probably lost a lot of followers during that one too. I don't know. It's kind of hard to keep up and really tell, but overall gaining followers, which is what we're trying to do over here at Tigs Bits. Look who made it into the chat, Mr. Jason Hilton. What is up? What is up, Hilty? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, Brian says the 60th, that is great. Isn't that crazy? It's just so crazy. 60 years, man, 60 years. I've had a lot of people ask about my dad, you know, and we know you guys that are with me every week know that Dad has stage 4 cancer. He's had peaks and valleys throughout the last little while, the last 3 years or so that he's been fighting it. And he's been fighting the heck out of it. There's no doubt about it. But the truth is, he's not doing great right now. So we're just kind of taking things day to day. It's been a pretty tough stretch the last 3 weeks. And honestly, I don't want to get down at all because I think y'all know me well enough to know that I like to stay up, stay positive, and be happy, be as happy as I can. But, you know, that's really what kind of led me to pulling the trigger on going on this amazing Omaha run, this amazing Omaha trip that we just really and truly had no plans on going on, but then we did. So I really appreciate all the thoughts, all the prayers, everybody out there. Y'all keep them coming. We're going to need them. You know, even though he wasn't with us on this trip, he's on my mind. I talked to him as LSU won the championship. That's something I'll never forget, getting to call him from there in the Schwab, in the Chuck, as LSU celebrated on the field in front of me. That was a special moment for me, and to have my son there as well with me. So, look, I just appreciate all the kind words, all the prayers, everything. So let's talk about how this whole trip came together, okay? So right after LSU punched their ticket, they beat Arkansas in a thriller of a game where, bless his heart, they had a drop ball in the ninth inning that would have that sealed the deal. They missed on a turn double play. I don't know if they would have got it. It would have been tight. He missed one earlier in the game. A lot of people forget that. he tried to turn same routine kind of double play, and they did not get it. So I think that was in his mind a little bit. But Arkansas blew it. What else is there to say? They blew it, and yes, riding on the emotion of that win, and yes, knowing that LSU had gone through, they had their full rotation going into the championship series. They hadn't lost in the College World Series. It's like, and nothing's ever a given. Nothing is ever a given that you're going to win the national championship. You make it to the championship game, everybody's good. And a tip of the cap to Coastal Carolina, the great team. They had won 26 in a row before they ran into the buzzsaw that were your national champion LSU Tigers. But after that game, after that drop ball, it's like, I gotta go. I gotta go. And it worked. It's like Dad was doing good enough that I felt comfortable enough to leave for a few days, and my sister's still close enough if she needed to come down. So I'm like, you know what? Riley has football camps starting he's going on a church camp the middle of July, and then football camps start, and it pretty much goes till October. So the month of July, we had this week we could go on a vacation, next week, and then that was it, really. That was really going to be it. So it's like, let's go do this. And if you remember, in 2023, Riley and I went on an epic trip with my buddy Bob, and we all went, and it was a good Lord. We left at 8 o'clock that night. Riley had a soccer game and LSU had just won game one of that series. We got there at 10:30 the next morning. LSU played at 1:30. We pretty much went straight in, no rest, and went to that game. LSU lost like 23 to something. I don't know. It was terrible. As the most wind I've ever seen in a game, and it was windy at both of these, but nothing like that. But LSU lost that. Then they won the championship on that Monday. Epic trip, epic journey. Totally different vibes from this one. This one was a little bit different because my wife got to go. So that's what made it so much fun, is we just were able to somehow or another manage on extremely short notice to make this happen. So like the very next morning, I decided this is happening. I started looking at stuff that night and looking at hotels and tickets and all of that. Well, I rented a car, number one. So I got a shout out to Enterprise. They were really nice this time around. I learned from my BARP experience, which I was supposed to rent a car on that deal as well, but things didn't work out. As also with Enterprise, they didn't have a car whenever I got there, which sucked. So I ended up going in my truck, wrecking it and all that stuff, as you know that story. So this time, taking no chances. I'm renting a car. I just spent money on struts and stuff like that on my truck. I'm like, I'm not putting any more wear and tear on this thing. And if something happens, it's on them. So rented the little Jeep Compass. Look, it ends up costing me, by the time if I would have gone in my truck, the money I would have spent on gas and everything, it cost me $200 to have a rental car for a week. That's kind of a no-brainer in my book. So we loaded up the old Jeep Compass and we rolled. So I got that on that. The game happened, I think LSU won on Wednesday. Yeah, then I booked a room in Omaha Thursday because I said I better hurry up. I better get that. And then got the Jeep. And then beyond that, we had no other plans. We didn't have tickets to the game, none of that stuff. So the goal was to leave on Friday morning at like 9 o'clock. We pretty much nailed it. I think we left at 9:17 that Friday morning. And then we began, I wanted to go at least as far as Kansas City, if not further. And we did. We went past Kansas City about another 30 or 40 minutes to St. Joseph, Missouri. And that's where we decided to stop for the night. And I'll talk about the accommodations. I mean, this place, well, I looked it up. It looked good. The fine folks at booking.com, always with some good rates. Shout out to booking.com if you want to promo me, we'll work a deal. But saw this pretty cool place, and I've had a lot of good luck on road trips of finding little unique places to stay that aren't necessarily chains and like more like a local kind of deal. I've had really good luck, but I can't even remember the name of the place in St. Joseph. It looked cool. My wife called it the wagon wheel. It was very rustic, a lot of wood. It looked like a log cabin in a sense, but very Midwestern. But the main reason I got it, indoor pool, indoor hot tub. And I'm thinking, hey, we go make this push to Omaha. We're 2 hours away at that point. We get there on a Friday. That would be Saturday. LSU doesn't play until 6:00 Saturday night. So what better way than to have a little breakfast, swim, let Riley do all of that, get in the hot tub. Well, none of that really worked. The room was okay. The hotel was decent. The swimming pool, terrible, just terrible, terrible. And Riley said that it had spiders in it. I didn't see that. But then the hot tub had sand, and it was not even warm water. Just, shit happens. I mean, that's the risk you take. But for what you paid for that room, everything should have worked. But whatever, the room was okay. It was fine. The breakfast was okay. I'm not going to complain too much. Of course, on the way up there that night, made a little stop in Fayetteville to troll the hogs. Of course, a little more on that in a minute. I'll get to that. But yeah, we had a good time pretty much staying there. And then we get up and we go to Omaha and we go to that hotel. And I know that y'all probably don't really care about hearing all of this, but I'm just going to tell you, stay in a chain hotel in St. Joseph, Missouri. And if you go to Omaha, do not stay in the Omaha Wyndham West. Don't stay there. Terrible experience for what you were paying for the hotel room. It's like 10 or 15 minutes from downtown where the baseball games were and all of that stuff. Easy Uber ride. Shout out to Uber in Omaha. Every time we go, they have so many Ubers. It's never an issue. It's fantastic. Gotta love that. But yeah, don't stay at the Omaha West. We did go and check in. We got in there. They didn't have my room right, of course. You know how that goes. But they got it right. I will give them that. But, man, that place was stingy with towels. I mean, I don't know how you can have a hotel and just be so stingy with towels, but they really were. I mean, it was an act of Congress to get towels. It's just crazy. They had a nice pool, though. Nice indoor pool. Riley liked that, so that was fun. So anyhow, we get to Omaha, we meet up with friends, and then just let the shenanigans begin. And I posted, I have so many videos and stuff from Omaha. Naturally, I haven't posted a lot of them. I've posted pretty much the best things. I wanted to kind of keep people going with what was happening, something that I could just put out short and quick. So I was able to do that, and I'm not going to bore y'all with all of that tonight. But yeah, just a blast. Once again, went to the mattress factory. I love the mat. That's so fun. It's right by the stadium. They have just about any kind of food you would want. They had brisket. It was good. I had a bite of somebody's brisket. Great wings, beers, huge bar, and just the whole town of Omaha. I don't think you can even begin to understand, like, when we say LSU takes over Omaha, and you hear that, and I've been enough that I knew what to expect. But I think there were even more people this time than there were in 2023. It's crazy. It is absolute insanity. It's like Baton Rouge. I mean, they're everywhere you go, and especially playing Coastal Carolina, there was not really anybody else there but LSU fans, of course, locals. But locals up there really support the Tigers because we bring a lot of money to the economy. So yeah, just a lot of fun. LSU wins, in a thriller in game one, 1-0, one of the fastest games of baseball that I've ever watched in collegiate baseball, especially. Great pitching on both ends and on both sides in that game, and LSU comes out with that 1-0 victory. And then I felt good. Like, it's going to be tough to beat the Tigers now twice in what is essentially a home game. Does that really make a big difference in baseball? Well, it sure as hell looked like it did in game two, very early when the coach got ejected, and the first base coach, and there's no doubt that the crowd amplified that and got it a lot rougher. And then it was just like, that was the worst thing you could do, coach, because now the crowd's in it. We smelled blood. and they win it all 5-3, and that was all fun and fine and dandy. But that night was probably one of the funnest nights I've personally ever had in Omaha. We all went back to the mattress factory after the game. My friends Mindy and David, they went with us. We ate, had a good little meal, and just visited, cooled off. Lord, it was hot. Both days it was hot. A lot of wind, and it's a lot drier than it is down here. Even 99, I think it was 101 maybe one day, but that 101 felt like 89 degrees in Baton Rouge. I mean, it really did. It's just not as humid up there, or it wasn't during then anyhow. I know it can get humid, but it doesn't get as bad as it does here. No way. There's just no way. But had a blast at the mat, and then Riley wanted to go swim. So Tammy and Riley went back to the hotel, and I met my buddy Bob, who, shout out to Bob, and thank you, Bob. He stood in line. Like I said, we had no tickets going up there, and he stood in line for us and got standing room only tickets. So we had tickets for game one. I was able to buy some tickets in the outfield for game two because people were selling them because it was freaking hot and at 1:30. So you were able to pick up a ticket in the outfield. We did not sit out there. We stood where we stood. I'm a little superstitious. Stood where we stood on game one. Got to do that. So just that post-celebration was fun. They go back to the hotel, and I go meet Bob at Barrett's, the famous Barrett's bar that I've wanted to go to, or pub, for a long time. That's been LSU's pub since the 90s, just through their entire championship run. And man, I get it now. I had a blast just going there, visiting with my buddy Bob, his brother, and then all the Tiger fans. It was like literally like celebrating here at home. So it was so much fun. It was just cranked up, and I rolled out about 10:30 or so that night, and I was exhausted. I was back to back, the heat, all that. Your boy was tired. But what was fun is the next morning we had zero plans, but we still ended up having a blast. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Omaha has the nation's number one zoo, the best. It's been voted the number one zoo many times. Them and the San Diego Zoo, probably the two, and I've been to both, the two best zoos in America for sure, if not the world. And Riley, we went in 2023. We had a great time, but the weather was iffy on that Monday. So I'm like, yeah, dude, we may get out there and just get trapped. And you've been there. Do you want to do something different? It's fine if you want to go there, but if you want to do something different, we can. I gave him some suggestions, and we went to the coolest freaking place, man. It was called the Luminarium, and it was right there on the Missouri River. They had all these like STEM things, like how a pendulum works and how steam is formed. They even had different plants, and you could program in what it is that you would like to grow at your house, how often you need to water it, stuff like that. And it gave you a seed. Riley still has some seeds in the house. I saw them a while ago. That's what made me think about it. But just a really cool museum, or whatever you want to call it. And it's good for kids and adults. I love those kind of things. Just all the little just all the little gadgets. You could just you could just mess with stuff and punch buttons and do all of that. That's fun. I freaking love doing that. So we had a blast doing that. I think we spent like 3.5, 4 hours in that thing. So I mean, it's 2 stories. It would really be cool. I think it closes at 5, but occasionally it is open at night. Man, it would be cool to see at night. Just the different lights and stuff that's in there. Omaha's entire downtown scene. I'll say this: if I was a big business, a big corporation that was going to a city to bring people in and do like to have a convention of, for lack of a better term, like I sell Aflac. Go to different places, different venues. Like they should go to Omaha. It would be Omaha's super clean city. It's a pretty city. And their downtown is just so very well developed, and there's just a lot to do. There's millions of restaurants. Food is good up there. I still haven't gone and eaten a steak at, I think it's called the 801 Chop House. Still haven't managed to do that, but I ain't done going to Omaha. That's on the list for next time. But I did get really, really good pizza at this place called Noli's Pizza, and it's famous for trying to replicate, at least trying to replicate that New York City pizza dough. So much so that that they have this filtration deal set up so that they can get the pH balance like it is in New York and all that. Allegedly, the owner brought back some of that water, and I've heard these stories of places that want to have that New York style pizza before. They brought back some of that water and tried to make it happen. I'm gonna tell you, it was fantastic. I mean, I'm not a huge like wood oven kind of pizza guy. Like the char, you get that char on that pizza. I'm not against it. I like it. I'll eat I'll eat a whole pizza of it. But if I had to pick, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. This just sounds terrible. Sounds like I'm definitely not a pizza connoisseur, and I'm not. I am not. But I like Pizza Hut's thin and crispy plain cheese pizza just fine. Just fine. So, I mean, but the dough had a really, really great taste. The pizza was fantastic, but the best thing that we had there, and I love this dish. I've got to figure out how to make one, and I think I'm going to adopt it like this. But I love baked brie. And they used to have across the street back behind me was a place called the Wine Loft here in Baton Rouge. It's kind of a chain. They closed down. I don't know if they closed down nationwide, but they used to have this deal. They used to have this baked brie, and it was brie baked in, drizzled with honey. Oh my God, it was so freaking good. And I've been on a quest to find baked brie. Like if I see baked brie as an appetizer, we're about to try it. We're going to find out what's up with your baked brie. And this one may have been one of the best that I've had in my quest. It was nothing like theirs, nothing like the Wine Lofts, but it was on this little toasted, this little cracker deal that was about that big, like a little piece of toast, but crunchy, just right, not too heavy with bread, almost like a piece of French toast in a sense. I don't know what it was. Tammy would know. But then it had the brie, some other type of cheese melted with it, walnuts, and that was all on this kind of like almost like a pepper jelly kind of jam, strawberries, kind of a raspberry-ish. I don't know what the berries were. It was a berry. It was berry good is what it was. Yes, it was. But oh man, that was the highlight definitely there. And at this point in time, when we're in Omaha, it's freaking 4:00 on Monday. We plan on getting home Tuesday. So that's whenever, it's like, well, what's time to go? Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. So we head back, and on the way back, we actually stopped in Fayetteville again, the scene of my crime. But this time I wasn't trolling. I was just chilling. We stayed at this Hilton Garden Inn. We were done with that Jackleg Hotel in St. Joseph's, done with that with that Jackleg Hotel in Omaha. Let's just stay at a Hilton Garden Inn. They have an indoor pool. We know what to expect. I think we had stayed there before. We'll have a great night. And we did. We did. We had a fantastic time. But as y'all know, I think most of y'all probably have seen it. I had a little viral moment in Fayetteville, and that was on the way up. That was on the way up, and I'm going to get into that here in a second. Let me catch up here on the chat. Sorry, I get to talking. I don't even have a guest in here tonight, and I still can't keep up. Brock, what is up? What is up? Boomer says, hey now, big titties. What's up? I love it. The trolls, Hilton, the trolls. Yeah, how do you swim without towels? Yeah, that's a great, well, here's a trick. Little thing to do. If you're at a hotel that has an indoor pool, they usually have towels. So if they're being stingy with towels, just go get them. And which is what we ended up doing. That's what we did. Let's see. Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you. And look, I've got news at the end of the show from Travel to Boot, and y'all are going to be seeing them soon. There's a little bit from there. Coastal Carolina. Yeah, they are a small school. Big E, what's up, Big E? I think I saw you said somewhere that, West Virginia actually swept Coastal this year. I knew that too, and that made me feel good going into that game. But yeah. Wait, that is the same Angel, isn't it? Holy cow! They kept saying Angel, and look, when you're there and you're in the moment, it's hard to know what's happening. But that is the same Angel. That dude is salty. That dude is salty. Yes, sir, Carl the Cat. I'm so glad I got to go to Barrett's too. I will, I'll go there every single time that I'm up there. No doubt. Omaha is a hot city. It is in more ways than one. It is a cool place. Brock, he just got back from Tennessee and had the best steak ever. Oh, love steaks. I cooked a killer steak the other night. I got, once again, trolls and hate, and I knew it would come out. Your fire wasn't hot enough. Look, I know what I'm doing, people. Like, I know how to sear a steak. I know how to sear one quick, fast. I got it. My little family doesn't like it seared. They don't like the crunch. Blasphemy, I know that, but I do, but that's okay. So I fully know what I'm doing. That's the thing that just drives me crazy. And I see all my friends that are cooking content creators and the trolls and all that. It's like, and we're going to get into that here in a minute. I just don't get why people can't just keep their damn mouth shut. Like, if you don't have anything good to say, why say it at all? Anyhow, let's see. Okay, here we go. Travis, next time we're cooking together, let's make that baked brie dessert that I make, bud. It's awesome. I forgot you told me about this. Yeah, and we'll make a video with it too. That is Travis Baker with T-Birds sauce. I saw Iron and Smoke will be having it look like a little sale coming up, maybe a little 4th of July sale. Some announcements coming from that. Y'all go check them out. You can check them out on the Spotlight at tigsbits.com. Support all these folks that we talk about on the show. But I like that. I like it. Boomer! What is up, Boomer? What is up, Boomer? Ladies and gentlemen, Blossy the one-man posse. Yes! What is up? Tigs Wigs. What's up, Blossy? Blacy and I got to, we talked the other night. Widespread Panic just went on their amazing 3-day run at Red Rocks, and we got to listen to that show together, which was a lot of fun. Yes. Tigs, you have to have Pittsburgh. You have to have to Pittsburgh. Yes. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Totally. I sear what I've been doing, what I do a lot with steaks these days, and even though they don't have to have it, I can sear it on the black. So I'll sous vide them, and then I'll finish them on the Blackstone, and I just don't sear theirs quite as hard. I kind of put theirs off to the side, so it just gets a good little loving, but not the full on sear. So that's one way I do it. So there's so many ways you can do steaks, and I can tell you, I ain't found a bad way yet, especially with a ribeye. Especially with a ribeye. So anyhow, back to the scene of the crime. Let's talk about that for a minute. So on the way up to Omaha, I decided to stop at Baum Walker Stadium and just film a quick little troll video. Truth of the matter is, the whole way up there, so we go through, and we took the scenic route through Arkansas, and I've gone that way before, and it is so beautiful. If you're going to Kansas City or anywhere and you have an opportunity to go up the west side of Arkansas, it's fun to do. It's just gorgeous. So about halfway up the state is really where the Ozarks start, and I've had the map tell me I should take a left and go through, I can't remember the name of the town, in Oklahoma, and go up that way. And then eventually you come into Fort Smith, and then it's back to the interstate and all that. Well, I've never done it. And I was like, you know what? Riley's never stepped foot in the state of Oklahoma. Why not? Why not see what's up? So we stopped this little gas station. I was like, we better stop here. I don't know if we'll have another place to stop. There wasn't. Now, if you've got a car that's not running well, do not go on this route, because there's nothing, like 70, 80 miles. There's nothing but mountains. And I had no idea that mountains existed in eastern Oklahoma. And my God, they were beautiful. And you can see this stuff. I've got it on our socials on Facebook. So go check out some of those pictures. Wow, just blown away. They had this nice little place where you could pull off, and just looking down in this valley, Surprise Valley, Panic fans. Yes, that's what I called it. It looked like Surprise Valley. It was beautiful, and you could see the road at the bottom, which is where we eventually got to. And man, just so pretty winding through there. And I'm thinking, we're gonna rip through Fayetteville. Tammy, just film me driving. I'm going to say something about being in Fayetteville. And that was the plan. And man, we were less than 5 minutes from the stadium. I didn't even know where we were at. And I knew we were close to Fayetteville, but I didn't know exactly how close we were to the stadium. And it hit me. I was like, you know what? I think I got an idea. Let's go be not classy. And let's just go have a little bit of fun. And I'm going to make a video. And Riley, I'm going to have you toss me a bottle. And I'm going to drop the bottle or not catch the bottle and say something like, I guess I'm in Fayetteville, or I forgot that I was in Fayetteville, or just something stupid. So we laughed. I pull up the stadium on the GPS real quick. We're 0.8 miles from the exit whenever I pull this up. So like, this all just came really quick. Just let me backpedal for a second about why I have this in my heart. That was the video. I mean, I get how I got trolls. We'll get to them, but I get how it was not classy. I agree. It was not at all. Disrespectful for sure. One thing I do want to note, I was never making fun of the kid who dropped the ball. I was making fun of Arkansas. That wasn't the first time they've dropped the ball to lose a game, in a very important game in Omaha. But I loathe the Arkansas Razorbacks, and that goes back all the way to the mid-90s when they joined the SEC and they came in. And I used to live in Minden, Louisiana. I used to live up in North Louisiana. So I interacted with a few more Hog fans than you do down here in Baton Rouge, by far. And look, there's a lot of good Hog fans. There really are, but not in South Arkansas. For the most part, I haven't found very many. And LSU would play every other year. The day after Thanksgiving, they would play in Little Rock. They would play the University of Arkansas in War Memorial Stadium. What a dump! What a dump of a stadium. And you had to park on a golf course. It was always cold. Sometimes it was raining. It was just always something. It was always something, and never treated nicely. Not a single time did I go to Little Rock where it wasn't rough, where it didn't have something thrown at us or somebody get in your face. Of course, saw some wild games, the Miracle on Markham, all that kind of stuff. Saw it rough, whatever. But that's life on the road. I get it. But all that hatred is built up in my sweet little heart all of these years. And I think in those 7 seconds of that video, just about everything came out of me. And I mean, I'm in it. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'd do that video 1 million times out of 1 million times. I will never take it down, and I'll never apologize. Only thing, was not making fun of that kid. I understand what happened with that kid. I saw him. It was terrible. I hate that. I would hate that if it were my son, but it was never about the kid. It was just about the University of Arkansas. And honestly, I have nothing but a ton of respect for their baseball program and Dave Van Horn and all of that. It was just some classic trolling. That's it. That is all it was. It was just trolling. So we do that. We stop. We literally went across the street, and I immediately posted the video. No edits, nothing. Just let her go. Let her eat. Tammy went into this bar and used the bathroom. It was like, let's roll. So we posted it. We roll on to St. Joseph's, which was about 4 hours away. And by the time I got there, good Lord, it was blowing up. That video, it had 20 or 30,000 views on a couple of platforms. It was just starting to roll. And I started seeing the comments. I started to catch on where these comments were going pretty quick. And look, I laughed at them. I was laughing. And I'm still laughing. But you're fooling yourself if you ever have a video like that and you start to just get lambasted like that. Like, what's up with your little dinosaur arms? And maybe you should catch Ozempic. And maybe you should look into Rogaine for your bald spot. And maybe you need to worry about this. A lot of maybe you need tos, which all I hope is that, look, I'm only assuming a majority of those fans were Hog fans. They were Arkansas fans. They were butthurt. I get it. I was just pouring that salt into the wound, and I love doing that. And it was fun, and I can't wait to do something like that again. But I get it. So I was expecting it. I was expecting the hate, and I knew there would be some LSU fans that were like, oh, my God, you're jinxing us. Number one, I don't play. I do not play for the LSU Tigers. I had no bearing on the games in Omaha. And even if they would have lost, I still would have kept it up. And I would have just kept on taking the comments because I shut them off. I quit reading them. I haven't read a comment on those videos since about midnight of the first night when it came out. And occasionally I can see one that'll pop through an Instagram. And look, I could probably do a whole damn show on that. But all I got to say is that on that first night, I definitely looked at some people's profile pics that were saying some of the absurd and mean. Let's just say what it is. Fellas, you guys who called me out, and you'll never see this. I would not cast a stone at a glass house if I were you. You need to go look in the damn mirror. Period. Like, it's just like, whatever. It's so easy to troll somebody, and you know it's always going to come down to looks and all that. It still can hurt. I ain't going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't like seeing it, because it is all the things that you think about yourself when you look in the mirror. It's the only way to do it. So who cares? Who gives a shit? So it was fun, and you just never know what's going to happen if one eats. So like I said, I'd do it 1 million out of 1 million times. So no regrets. I'm just going to let it eat. It's crazy. It's had, I don't know, like 700,000 or 800,000 views all combined, and that's great. Thing is, not really a video I can do to follow up with that to let it eat. So we're back to normal. We're back to our normal broadcasting, our normal schedule, which is good. Let me see what the chat has to say. Dusty says, like internet people that bitch because his ribs fall off the bone. That is, I mean, sometimes competition bites. Let's talk about that, Dusty. That's what people want. No, they don't. They want it to fall off the damn bone. Competition bites in any of the barbecue and all that, totally different than what you cook at home. For sure. Let's go. Brantley's like, let's go be Bama for a minute. Pretty much. Placey, he was coming out of retirement to do the Justin Moore interview. Scratch back to retirement. I hope Justin didn't see it, but let's see. He may never come on the show because of that video, but you know what? It's a risk I'm willing to take. I think he can take that. You know, we'll let it. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, Big E, is the Hogs the mascot, or the women, were they there? That's a good point. I did forget this. So as we go up, we walk up to the stadium, and I'm standing in front. Tammy pulls out the phone. Riley's there with my Pepsi Zero is what it was. And I hear, "Hey!" And I went, what is that? And I see this lady with her dog sitting like kind of across the street. Nothing else is around. No other cars are around. I don't know what she was doing. And I just threw up the L and I said, "What's up? Go Tigers!" And we did our little deal and then and start to walk off. Well, she had come up across the street at this point, just filming the whole time. I thanked her. I thanked the University of Arkansas. I looked at the stadium. I thanked them for once again handing us another potential natty. And and she was not happy. She was not happy. Jason Hilton, that Van Horn coached at NSU when I was there. He sure did. Dave Van Horn coached at Northwestern. I think I went to a DVH baseball camp. I can't remember if it was him. Remind me who the coach was before him that went to Alabama. He was a great coach too. Northwestern had some great ball coaches. It was Shane and Renee, or Shane or Renee. Who knows? It's a hybrid account. Hey, B, it's the only way we get to see you. That is true. This is the only way you can see me right now. Anyhow, I'll see y'all soon. Let's see. How were the West Virginia fans, honestly? Man, they were great, Big E. They really were. I got to meet y'all, your friend, and hang out with them. It was a small group of folks that were here, but they were super nice. They really were, and I had zero issues with them. Of course, LSU took care of business too. That always helps. But nothing but niceness. I did not get to try any of the what do you call the things that I didn't get to try any of those that they take into the coal mines and all of that. The pepperoni deals. I wasn't able to have any of those, but it's still fun. It was still fun. They can get a little rowdy. Yes, they can, and I like that. I like that about them. Fontaine, what is up? What is up, Fontaine? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yep, pepperoni rolls. That's right. That's right. West Virginia fans were great. Just a lot of fun. So, anyhow, back to Fayetteville. We stayed that night. We're coming home the next day, and I started looking. It hit me. Like, we passed several places that have caves and different things and all that stuff. So I started thinking, I'm like, I don't think Riley's ever seen a cave. I don't know if he's ever seen a cave or any of that. And so started looking stuff up. Some of them were an hour and a half back north. So it's like, yeah, we're not going to do that. But then Devil's Den State Park was only 30 minutes away from Fayetteville. So we start to go drive down let's go hit that. I could tell Riley wasn't just like crazy excited about it, but it's like, trust me, I think this could be really cool. I looked at pictures and stuff. So the cool thing with it is it was formed in the 1930s and by the CCC, and I didn't know anything about what the CCC was or anything until this. I'd never heard of it, actually, but it was launched by Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1933 as a part of the New Deal to combat unemployment during the Great Depression. So one of the things that I read, it was to kind of bring the spirits up of men to get them working again. It was part of the New Deal, which was some of the first things that he did whenever he came into office. It employed over 3 million young men between 1933 and 1942. Workers were paid $30 a month, but 25 of that was sent directly back home to their families. So that was interesting. Of course, $30 a month would probably be like the equivalent of maybe 3,000 today. The CCC workers, they lived basically in military-style camps, and they worked on projects like planting trees, building parks, trails, bridges, dams. They fought wildfires. So it got everybody back involved. They called it Roosevelt's Tree Army, in fact, because they planted over 3 billion trees everywhere. And it laid the foundation for many state and national parks that we still enjoy today, including the development of Devil's Den. So they started forming Devil's Den back in the 1930s, and they used native stone and wood in a very classic rustic style. Like there, it just all goes into the state park. It's just all very seamless. They obviously blew up rocks, and they made steps, and they made all of that stuff. The place is known for its crevices, its caves, its waterfalls, and its scenic trails. And it's just part of the Ozark Mountains, part of the Boston Mountains in the Ozarks. Again, you can go to our Facebook page. I have pictures and some video from some of the waterfalls and stuff. It was hot. Now, we're getting a little back further south. We're still not in all the humidity, but it was not cool that day. But at least, the trail that we went on, they have a lot of trails there. They have multiple trails. You can horseback ride. You can mountain bike on these trails. They have all kinds of stuff. But you can see some of the main things. Number one, if you do this 1.5 mile little run where you're going to go up basically up the mountain, and you'll see the caves. Then you come to the waterfalls, and then you come back down. It was a moderate hike, and it was a little bit more. It was a little more to that 1.5 miles than I was expecting. By the time we got to the waterfalls, shirt just completely drenched, just totally soaked. But what was nice is walking along. Part of one of the things that you pass is the Devil's Ice Box, which is crazy. It's just a cool deal, literally cool. So you could feel it as you were walking too. It's 95 outside, 93, 95, something like that. You get there to the Devil's air conditioner, the Devil's Ice Box. It's 25 degrees cooler. Like, it was cool. Like you were in air conditioning. Of course, that was the coolness coming out from the cave. You can't explore the caves, unfortunately, anymore. They're barred up, so you can't get in there. But they protect the bats or something. But I talked to people. In fact, there was a family in front of us that were walking, and they had been, the guy went to the University of Arkansas, and he's been in the caves. And I've talked to some people that have commented on the Facebook post that they've been in those caves too, and they go back pretty far. But bats were always an issue. Yeah, I'm good with that. I would like to take Riley one where you can go in and like Carlsbad Caverns, and you can see stalactites and stalagmites and all that stuff. I'm sure that they're in there. But it's not lit. It's not really made to tour, but still really, really cool. And I wondered, like, where did this Devil's Den, where did that name come from? And it was likely from settlers who were hiding in the caves and the crevices. And a lot of, in the old days, they said it was, outlaws and stuff like that, so they could hide. They could hide. So it was really cool. You can actually explore those cabins that are there. They built this dam, and you can see this huge waterfall. They dammed up this creek, built it up to build this little lake so that they could do whatever, just have a little lake and all that. You can't fish in it, but just have a lake to swim in and stuff like that. They don't advise you swim in it now, but back then you could. And but it's a really cool dam. So we did that, and then as we're getting kind of to the end of the trail, we look down, and there's this rocky creek running along, and see a tent, like a tailgating tent that's down on the edge of the creek, and there's two or three dudes, and it looked like some kids, and I just was like, y'all got it right. Y'all got the right idea. And they're like, come on down, man. And I was like, how do we get there? You couldn't get there from where we were at because it was up the mountain. It was going to be too tough. So you could drive around. So we did. So we finished up our little hike, and then we drove over there to go see what was up, because Riley really wanted to we didn't get to go swimming that morning. And, well, no, we did go swimming that morning. He just wanted to keep swimming. He just wanted to be in the water. But I did too, because it was hot, and you knew that water was going to be cold, and it was. So we went down and ended up visiting with these guys. It's three dudes, brought their sons from Texas, and they do it every year. They go to a state park, stay for 4 or 5 days. They had one of the guys had his dad with him, and it's something that they've been doing for years. So I think that's cool. They had been, just exploring the park. There's fossils and things like that on some of the trails that you can go on, that you can find. They have been doing all of that stuff. So we just sat in the creek, visited with them for about 45 minutes or so, cooled off. They had a watermelon. They cut open a watermelon. We all sat there, and that was probably the most refreshing watermelon I've ever eaten in my life. It was great. And man, just had a lot of fun. Really did. And then it's like it's 3:30. Well, we gotta get back to Baton Rouge, man, because at 11:30 tomorrow morning we're rolling to Houston. So we hauled ass basically from Devil's Den back to Baton Rouge, got home about midnight, and then we got in it. Riley and I went on. It was a lot of fun. Went on a church trip, went with our church. We were all supposed to go in a van down by the river. No, we were all supposed to go in a van, and then we ended up just going in 3 vehicles. So it was nice. Got to visit, fellowship with some of our guys who go to our church, and that was just a lot of fun. And then, I mean, it was a blast. We got there, shout out Pastor Mike. He had this thing hooked up. Now, usually you go on a church trip, something like that, you get group tickets to a baseball game. You're way up in the upper deck somewhere or whatever. Not us. No, sir. We were just behind the third baseline on the lower level on the first night, which was awesome. And then on the second night, we were in the club, or the second day, we were in the club, which was just freaking great. Very convenient. The seat's not quite as good. We were in the outfield, but there's no bad seat at a baseball game. I could watch a baseball game anywhere. It doesn't matter. I don't have to be right behind home plate or anything. I just love baseball. So super cool. We stayed at the Hyatt place, which was neat because it used to be an old Southwestern Bell. That was like the switchboard and all was in there. And so it was themed that way. They had an old switchboard right there when you check in. and stuff. The room was just immaculate. It was a super nice room, like a lot of the hotels are in downtown Houston. I always love going to Houston. You can pay. I can tell you this: is half the price of what we paid in Omaha at that damn Wyndham. It really was, and just so much better. It was full on suite, and so we weren't in the room that long because we got there at like 4:30 or 5. Then we ate pretty quick, and then the game started at 7. So I mean, we just went bam, bam. Hotel's 5 blocks from the stadium, which was nice. So we got there, and then the Astros won both games, beat the Phillies. That was fun. They won 2-0, I think, on the first night. And talk about fast. That I tell you what, Major League Baseball has flat out sped that game up, man. I think that game was 2 hours and 34 minutes or something like that. And then again, the next day, they won, what was it, 3-2 or something like that. And that game was like 2 hours and 40 minutes. They have a pitch clock of 15 seconds. You can only have 4 mound visits. You know, you're limited on how often you can stop the game, which in a way I like, but in a way, especially on Thursday, it would have been nice if they would have played a little longer. When we left the stadium, you could see, man, it was storming outside, and you could see lightning and all that towards the end of the game. I'm like, man, I really hope this hurries up. I don't want to have to walk 5 blocks in this. And it did, and we started walking back, and we're about halfway back, and I mean, the bottom fell out, just soaked head to toe. But whatever, at least we had our bags. We had checked them. We kept them at the hotel. They checked them for us, so I was able to change into some dry clothes and whatnot. But man, it really wrapped up just what was an epic week of just having some good old family fun, a lot of baseball, a lot of traveling. It's probably going to take me 3 weeks to recover from all of this. You know, ain't no doubt I'm back in it now that I'm home, and all of home is still here, and there's still plenty to do, as I kind of elaborated earlier in the show. But yeah, man, that was so much fun. I'm glad that I'm back and I'm recovered. But look, I said I would tell a little bit about what all's coming up here in the month of July. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a great month. I think I've announced this. I can't remember. Probably. I knew I've said he was coming on, but Mr. Weatherall. I had Mr. Weatherall on, and that episode will be dropping here in the next couple of weeks. Freaking fantastic. Just very insightful. Just a really, really, really good show. Of course, the Stir in the Pot that they were on the last time that I was live. I think they were the guests a couple weeks ago, remastering that, if you will, making it podcast worthy and cleaning it up a little bit, taking some of the stuff out, just making it better, editing it. So that'll be coming out on Spotify and all of that. Tiggy and the Handler will be returning. We may get a show recorded this week. It won't be on Bubba Army this week. Probably won't. We'll probably get it recorded next week. So we're going to get back, JR and I, back in the saddle on that. I've locked down some guests today. I've got next week. I don't have a guest as of now, but hold on. I may. On the 17th, my friends at Travel to Boot, they will be joining us on that Thursday night. And then on the 24th, my friend Rachel Berthelot from Rachin' Cajun Cooking and Louisiana Girls will be on the podcast too, to talk about all of her social media and all of that, so cooking and videos and contests and competitions, all of that. So a lot of good stuff coming up, a lot of great guests coming up. It's just going to be a lot of fun. We've got a lot of stuff. I've been testing some new recipes that aren't quite camera ready yet. You may have seen we made this chicken gyro or whatever, chicken wrap, whatever you want to call it. It was inspired by our friends at Farm to Fire last night. Totally not the exact same thing they did, but man, that was good. especially if you're doing a Mediterranean lifestyle. It's just fantastic. The tzatziki sauce, I can get into that. We need to make more. And shout out to my daughter. She's the one who put it all together. It's so nice having my daughter back home this summer, and she's going to be moving back in with us, and Daddy's very happy about that. It really is. It's been good. You know, your family's everything, and especially when you're going through stuff, you know, you never get any tighter than you do with your family. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up. The macaroni and cheese that I made, I haven't finished editing that. I've got a ribs video that I haven't put out. There's just a lot of stuff. Other podcasts, short clips from all these shows that we've done. Your boy just got behind, and that's okay. It's a good thing. We have an archive of stuff, and we have a lot of stuff coming up too, you know. But I do want to say, I don't want y'all to think that I'm going to just start chasing the algorithm, because that ain't going to happen. When you go viral, that's great, but I'm not going to continue to just try to chase it. We're going to stick with what we're doing. Of course, I think that some of the videos later on this year will probably do well once we go to Tales from the Tailgate and that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very thankful for that viral growth. I'm very thankful that some of this stuff is getting monetized. To the trolls, to the haters out there, thank you for all of the comments, because you paid for the gas on my trip up and back to Omaha. That is a fact. So I appreciate that. Thank you, trolls. Appreciate it. Look, if you hadn't, go to our YouTube homepage or tigsbits.com. You can see some of the best of stuff, some of the shorts that we've done, some of the full pods that you may have missed. I got a little note from somebody today that saw the Jeff Pedrowski video. Whenever severe storms start to happen, that video always seems to come up, and they're like, how have not more people not seen this video? I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know how I can promote it any better than we've done, but that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Fontaine says, go trolls. That is a fact. That is a fact. And yes, thank you, FDR, for building all of these parks. It's an amazing thing that we still get to use today. We do. And so I love it. I love it. Well, look, that's going to do it for tonight's show. Thanks for hanging out with me. Again, if you're new here, make sure to check out the backlog at tigsbits.com or scroll through the YouTube channel. Got a lot of tons and tons of content coming. Great interviews. Plenty more on the way. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you hadn't hit the like button on this show yet, shame on you. I'm just playing. Hit that like button. Share it. Get it out there. And until next time, see y'all next Thursday.
What is his name?
I'm the bad guy? How'd that happen? I did everything they told me to.